So hi there friends, here I am ready to give you a little tutorial about what Pilates is all about, because honestly I'm aware if you just peeked in a window and watched someone doing Pilates or watched a Pilates class, you might think, that looks really easy. They're not really doing anything. They're just laying on the mat flapping their arms. But there's a lot more to it that makes a Pilates workout quite intense. As a matter of fact, my Westchester students are usually really surprised at the fact that they get sore. They don't feel it so much during the workout. It's the aftermath. It's that you go to laugh or cough and, oh, I feel abdominal muscles deep, muscles I never felt before. And that's what it's all about, using those muscles that are very underutilized when it comes to core training. And that's your transverse abdominals. Don't know if you ever heard that term. Most of us hear the term of the rectus abdominals. That's those six-pack looking abdominals that we're all shooting for, or sometimes. The oblique muscles, so we do our bicycle crunches and our oblique twists of all sorts. So those are words that a lot of people who work out have heard, but not many people have ever learned about the power of the transverse abdominals, about the power of, no pun intended, using their powerhouse, which isn't just the midsection here. It's learning how to use it all the way around, as well as your upper inner thigh muscles, your pelvic floor muscles that draw up like if you're doing a Kegel, right? It's all about that. And also into the shoulder area, a lot of pulling down the shoulder blades. We have a machine at our gym at Retro Fitness Kenhurst that you sit on and put your elbows on the pads. And there's handles here. And when I'm coaching our members, I'm always teaching them not to grip the handles and pull, but rather place their elbows on the pad. Some of you know what I'm talking about. And press down, and our fingertips are open. We're not gripping, right? But we're pushing down, activating through the shoulder blade area, through the lats, which connects down through the body and creates the crunch. And that's where you want that to come from. We're not bending at the neck, we're not yanking with our shoulders, although that's a lot of fun. Not the time and place. We want to contract down through the lats. We want to exhale with a, like you're fogging up a mirror, and draw the abdominals as tightly as you can, at the same time drawing up the pelvic floor. So that's how you would turn that machine at Retro into a Pilates exercise and a much more efficient abdominal exercise. So we take that to the mat, to Pilates mat training, all right? I often tell people, when I learned to do Pilates, it was the most light bulb moment I ever had, and the best thing that ever happened to me in being trained, because I've now learned to use my breath. Everything I do, it can be a bicep curl. Contract through the abdominals, shrink through the abdominals, draw up the pelvic floor. Anything can be a Pilates movement. But back to Pilates and those principles that I'm just sort of rambling about. One is the breath, one of the most important. So when we're doing a class and I'm cueing the breath and I'm cueing the movement and I'm cueing the length and I'm cueing how to lift the head, or all of the different things that I'm cueing, it can get very, oh my God, she just told me to put my eyelashes on the right eye, on my left eye, while I exhale and lift my leg. So it can get quite like, there's so much I don't know what to focus on. Focus on the movement first and keep breathing. So as an example, say we're doing a leg up and down, a side lift, and I'm saying exhale, exhale, exhale on the down phase. but you're having trouble matching that movement with the breath that I'm cueing, just focus on the movement, the form. Where's my elbow? Where's my ribs? Where's my neck? Where am I emphasizing? Is my bottom leg straight? Is it soft? Those kind of things, getting the movement down in the proper alignment, and just breathe. So if you need to exhale and I'm saying inhale, please exhale, don't hold your breath. And just focus on then, once you get the movement, trying to tighten your abs on the exhale. So that's the first thing. Movement and alignment. Add breath where you do it naturally, even if it's different than what I'm saying. That part will come. And when you exhale, suck in your belly button. But it's not as all simple as that. But that's the progress you'll make through the adding the Pilates principles into your workouts. So the next thing is really learning how to not just suck in your belly button, as I said. When we inhale, we think about, we have, my visual for this is you have on a pair of jeans that just fits perfectly. We all have that pair of jeans that has a button, right? And you feel like if you eat too much or you breathe too big in the belly, oh, I'm going to pop my button, right? I got to keep my abs firm. So we don't walk around like this the whole time, but we do sort of keep our abdominals firm. So I say in a lot of my cues, breathe in, firm abs. That's like you don't want your belly to come out. You don't want to belly breathe. You don't want to pop your button. And as you exhale, draw your abs in. But not only that, as I said, draw up the pelvic floor. So the abs are coming in, the pelvic floor is coming up. We feel this all wrap, all right? So lots of times another cue I'll be giving in form cues and in breathing cues is wrap, zip, wrap the abs in, zip up from the underside up, all right? Even activating the inner thighs up through the pelvic floor, drawing it all in like it's all going to meet in the middle. So another thing, on the inhale, the lungs have to expand. Where we allow the expansion while we're keeping our abs firm and not popping our buttons is the rib cage. So you'll hear me give cues like expand your ribs east to west. In that inhale through the nose, keeping the belly firm, but allowing that side to side, east to west expansion. Now they're going to expand this way too, but lots of times we don't think about fully expanding and getting a good inhale. Let the rib cage be three-dimensional. As you exhale, think about knitting those ribs back together as you're drawing in the belly, as you're drawing up the pelvic floor. I can't say all those cues on the exhale, so I go back and forth and give different cues to you during your inhales, during your exhales. And then let's just dial back. That can be very complex. It can make you go, oh my God. So what do? You focus on the alignment, the movement, the control, and keep breathing. And then as you get that better, those other cues, like I just gave you examples of that you're hearing, you're going to start to dial them in. You're going to have some light bulb moments. My light bulb moment was great because I had just had a C-section. My abs were dead. I was back teaching with Linda Rado. Hi, Linda Rado, you might be there. Anyway, I'm back teaching at the old studio in West Reading that we were doing back then, or running back then. And I had Allie several years prior. I was back working out, but I was not making any progress in my core. From that C-section, my abs went dead, and I was doing the old 1990-something crunches without, like I explained on that ab machine, right? I didn't know to do that. I knew to exhale, but I didn't know what to do with my whole body in that exhale. And so when I learned that, it was game-changing. As an example, what my Pilates teacher taught me in that first certification was, Janet, don't lift your head off the floor. Don't move your legs. Just while you're driving a car, while you're feeding your baby, while you're watching a movie, and I tell my clients this at Retro all the time, just breathe. Inhale, keep your belly firm. Exhale, I'm going to do it, can't talk at the same time. Not that good. Watch. Notice you can exhale with an H sound in the back of the throat, like you're fogging up a mirror, much longer than you can blow out your birthday candle. Is gone. You can't get a lot of abdominal contraction in that exhale, but you sure can in this exhale. A lot of air comes out. One of the tricks that I teach my Westchester students is blowing up a balloon. Now with the balloon blowing up, you can't really do the whole H thing all that well, but you can do a really long abdominal type exhale blowing up a balloon. And you start to get the idea doing that kind of drill of how big can I blow up that balloon? Do I have more air to get out? And as I do, can I be squeezing that air out by knitting my ribs together, drawing my navel to spine, drawing up through the pelvic floor, engaging my inner thighs? You have a lot more air in there, and you learn to engage that entire powerhouse. So once you get the balloon drill down, then try the without it. Sitting, laying. I used to do it if I was feeling anxious and had a lot of anxiety, which is something I deal with. That everybody that deals with anxiety, whoever had any type of therapy or coaching through that, probably learned a breathing drill, how to slow down your breathing. Well, the Pilates breath kills two birds with one stone. All right, you can lay in bed, sit in a chair, close your eyes or not, and breathe in as deeply as you can, expanding the rib cage as expansion as you can. That's not a word. And then in the exhale, make it last even longer than that inhale, and get every ounce of air out and draw every muscle through the powerhouse, right? You can do it. I'll tell you what, I usually tell people to do 10. They usually get real tired doing 10. Sometimes when I practice, I maybe only get to 5. So anyway, those are some tips, silly stories about the breath. When it comes to the head lift and using the breath, can you still see me? What we don't want to do is aggravate the neck by lifting the head. That's aggravating me a lot right now, all right? I call it, and this is my own little thing, a dagger lift. You think about a dagger, pretty gruesome, not for the faint of heart. Dagger coming down into the sternum, going through your back and through the other side, and that's where you lift from. But you see, I didn't change my neck. So one of the drills I do with my students is I tell them to make the loser sign and place their thumb and their forefinger at their jaw, at their collarbone area, just to sort of know the distance where your neck is when it's neutral. Where's your jaw when it's neutral? So as I dagger lift, I exhale, I pull down in the sternum and lift. The distance between those 2 points shouldn't change. My neck is still neutral. Now, we have a lot of brains in there. The head is heavy. The neck will get tired, but not as tired as if you were here. That is just terrible. You can't breathe well. You're constricted. This way, you're neutral. You're long. And you can put, like you saw in my workout videos, and you will, a nice soft ball behind your head. That way, you have the ball there. Sorry, I forgot to grab my little prop to show you that. But the ball can be there. You can still dagger lift head weight off of that ball, but it's still touching. But then as this gets tired and you start to crunch up, instead, you can rest your head back on that ball and still do the exercises that are requiring a head lift. If you don't have a ball, you would dagger lift and do whatever exercise it was with that nice neutral neck, strong, whatever the exercise is, but no ball to rest on, pillow could work, or put your head down. What you're going to notice when your head is down in an exercise that I'm asking you to have it up, you're probably going to change your lever length of your legs. So as an example, I'll show you. Didn't really get into neutral spine, and I'll just touch upon that right now. We have a natural curve in our back. We think about pressing it towards the floor. In the good old days when I started teaching, I used to say, push your low back into the floor. Well, that's not really a good thing to do. It's going in the direction of the floor, but what we're not doing is asking you to change the shape of your spine. We're not trying to flatten your lumbar spine curve, but we're trying to minimize it a little bit. Those of us with lordosis like me, we sometimes have to do a little bit of a pelvic tuck to get a better neutral spine. But you normal people, I know you're out there, you might not need to worry about that. But you're bracing, you hear us talk about ab brace. Think about keeping the triangles of the back bikini on the floor and neutral, staying that way. So we can talk about that later, but notice when I go and take my legs to an angle with my head down, I'm sort of activating my shoulder blade area, my lats down. That is about as far as I can lower my legs without flaring my ribs or arcing out my back. So notice, if I go lower, can you see that my ribs start to flare and I get like a tunnel under my back? So right here is my point of control with my head down. But watch, in the head lifted position, I actually can keep this all neutral and go lower. So with that said, when we're talking about head lift and we're doing any type of Pilates exercise with extended leg, with the head up, and my neck is starting to activate too much, and I need to lay down on the floor, I may need to lessen the angle of the legs. And so don't worry about that. I would rather have you do that than being all up in here, and then you're going to hurt your back. So any of you had football coaches that had you doing 6 inches? It's really not a good thing. What do most people have to do when they do the 6 inches? They usually have to put their hands under their butt to try to get to a neutral spine. So why not train your body in where your neutral spine is and go to your depth in your point of control? I think that's much more functional, isn't it? Right? Because in daily life, you need to be working in a functional spine, a neutral spine, while you're lifting things, doing things. You're not going to do this. Oh, no, wait, I need to pick that up, so let me put my hands under my butt to neutralize my spine. No, you need to use your core and learn to proprioceptively know where neutral is for you and how to hold it there with your abdominals. So that's why I've learned, even when I'm teaching lunges to people, I will tell them, and this isn't even Pilates, I'll tell them to activate their low abdominals to help keep their hips under their ribs so they can lunge straight up and down, right? So when we're in a 90-90, head's chopped off, right? Going up and down, but you can see the part of me I want you to see. I'm keeping my abdominals down here tight to keep my hips under, to keep my body in neutral. If I relax that, all heck breaks loose, right? So another example there quickly of how Pilates terminology, Pilates principles can transfer over into regular traditional fitness and can really be game-changing in your workouts. So those are two things that I really wanted to talk about. There's some others, more work on neutral spine and such. Sorry to itch my nose. But anyway, I just think that those are some things that could be very helpful for you getting started in Pilates. And I hope that you'll stay with me. I hope you have a great evening. Thanks for watching. Bye.